Welcome to my corner of the internet. Fair warning, there will be some major spoilers for Pikmin 4 ahead. This is your last chance to go play the game, if you don't want to be spoiled. Nintendo's Pikmin series may be one of their smaller performing titles, but each one is amazing and in a unique light. I highly recommend playing all 4 of the Pikmin games, especially Pikmin 1 through 3. They're on the Switch right now, and of course now's the best time to play them since they're all there. You don't need to play the other 3, of course, if you want to play Pikmin 4. The performance of Pikmin 4 is one of the Switch's most beautiful games. It's one of the best I've ever played. The visuals are absolutely stunning, especially the realistic treasures that you find throughout the world. This is especially the case, in my opinion, for the retro treasures. The ones that look like mini Nintendo consoles, controllers, discs, cartridges. Of course, they're not mini, they're regular size. You're mini. And the new camera perspective really helps with the scale of some of these. Okay, I'm gonna cut this out. Furthermore, the Pikmin and wild animals look fantastic in their latest iterations. The new camera perspective really helps with the scale of some of these creatures and how big they are compared to you, and how small you really are. I mean, look at these graphics in the background, you can see. One of the most crazy environments is when you enter a realistic human's house. Of course, there's no one in there, but the camera perspective and the scale of the furniture really conveys your small size. And it's one of the best looking and most unique locations in the franchise. And the detailed treasures also help you make you feel the small size. Now, onto the music. Unfortunately, in my opinion, the Pikmin 4 overworld music isn't nearly as strong as some of the other songs, the other tracks in the series, especially compared to Pikmin 1. However, there are a few boss themes that stand out incredibly well to me. These include the standard boss music. I simply love the snare drum. It's not really something I feel like we see too often in video games, especially in boss music. And it just sounds incredible to me in this entry. I also love, my favorite song in the entire game goes to the groovy Longlegs battle theme. Hearing the air horn, the goofy EDM dubstep music that plays throughout the fight and how it matches to his walking and speeds up with every phase as he changes color. It's just an amazing fight with an amazing soundtrack. If you want to take a listen, here it is. And finally, in my opinion, one of the best is the Ancient Sirehounds metal guitar theme. In its fight, I find it to be incredibly unique, and it's the most unique song in the entire franchise, and it's incredibly fitting for the final boss of this amazing game. Pikmin 4 plays and feels amazing, especially compared to some of the jank found in the original Pikmin 1 and Pikmin 2. Both of these games had issues where Pikmin AI was just incredibly dumb, and would just fall off bridges and cliffs or just walk into their own death. Pikmin 4 fixes this with a better AI, and is also alleviated by having Ochi with you. He acts as your second captain, and he can also carry your Pikmin and you, meaning that all of your lovely goobers and Ochi won't slip off bridges, they don't follow you, they're all in one place. So you don't have to worry about anything falling on them and killing them, because as long as Ochi is safe, they're all safe. The Pikmin themselves all returned from previous games except for one notable exclusion, unfortunately, and we'll get to him in a bit. But we now have two new types. They are the Glow and Ice Pikmin. The Glow Pikmin are only available at night, and they are exclusive to the caves as well. They basically act as a replacement to Pikmin 2's Bulbmin. Those are the unfortunate souls that do not return for this game, which is really unfortunate. The Glow Pikmin are immune to all elements like the Bulbmin, and like Bulbmin can only stay in caves, or can be at night. They are better than Bulbmin because you can use your charge attack to create a spirit bomb looking thing that stuns enemies and destroys them. They are very busted Pikmin. I can see why they're only allowed in dark spaces. The Ice Pikmin are incredibly busted as well in the fact that they can freeze anything they attack after it builds up. And what this means is, I mean, once you freeze an enemy, there's literally no, it can't do anything. So you beat the enemy, it freezes, and you know, they can also freeze water and destroy obstacle globe, liquid glob things. The issue with the Ice Pikmin is if they do freeze something and you destroy it while it's frozen, you don't get the body to get more Pikmin. It instead drops nectar, which is a nice trade-off, so you aren't always using Glow Pikmin or Ice Pikmin to break everything. The Reds return as usual, and they act as the same. They are fire immune, and they have a 1.5 attack multiplier that other Pikmin don't have. They also now have the ability to hold embers to melt straw, to burn straw and melt ice, which can be useful against certain ice enemies. The yellows return, and they act the same as before, with the ability to jump higher and are immune to electricity. The blues return, and this is the best they felt, with the ability to breathe underwater and swim to attack and carry objects underwater. This is the best they've ever felt, especially since they have an entire map designed specifically for them and their water abilities. The Rock Pikmin also return, and they don't really have as much to do in this game as they did in 3, since Crystal isn't a common obstacle. But they do have an amazing combat ability, especially paired with Ochi's Charge. They can't latch on to enemies, so when you charge and they're thrown onto... and finally, he has returned! The Purple Pikmin, the most powerful Pikmin of them all, from Pikmin 2. After being heavily nerfed in Pikmin 3, he returns with some of his former glory. Unfortunately, his stun does not return from Pikmin 2, but his double attack damage does, and unlike rocks, they can latch on enemies. Combined with Ochi's Charge, these Pikmin are by far the best for combat in the game. They also can carry for the worth of 10 Pikmin, and are heavy for the worth of 10 Pikmin. Ochi, your new captain, also, unlike other captains in previous games, can also act somewhat like a Pikmin as well. He can carry objects, and he helps you solve puzzles. He also can fight for you. Ochi return. Okay. Ochi is absolutely busted at this game. He can carry for the weight of 100 Pikmin. He can deal incredible amounts of attack damage. He's great for mobility. With his charge, he can move around the map relatively quickly. Also, with the charge, if you hit an enemy, he'll launch Pikmin onto it, dealing more damage, and after being upgraded, he can even stun enemies with the charge. He is absolutely busted. Furthermore, you can carry your Pikmin on your back, which allows you to save most of your Pikmin, because if they're all on Ochi, most of the time they won't even get hurt. There are a few enemies that will attack the Pikmin on Ochi, but for the most part, they are safe. Which leads to another thing: Ochi can be upgraded by rescuing stranded survivors. Upgrading Ochi, you can make him more powerful. For example, he only starts with the ability to carry 3, and he doesn't do as much attack damage, he can't swim, but as you go through the game, he becomes a monster that is incredibly busted in the game. The collectibles in this game, there are tons of them. A lot of types returning as well. We have the fruit back from Pikmin 3, as well as the treasures from 2, as well as the unique collectibles of this game. Furthermore, in a later discussed side mode, we even have the ship parts that Olimar looks for in Pikmin 1. So, the collectibles are amazing to find. Some are from larger groups, some form larger groups, like a train set and giant robot. The treasures allow you to progress to later maps using Sparklium to upgrade your radar. The raw materials can be used to build and upgrade yourself. So not only can you upgrade Ochi, you can upgrade yourself to be more powerful and immune to more things. You can also get little gadgets and throwable items. This is how you're mainly supposed to get bomb rocks from previous Pikmin games, as well as other unique weapons for you to throw out. These can also be used to build bridges and walls. And finally, they're stranded people. You can find them in caves, and they are vital since they allow you to upgrade Ochi, and some give you quests for you to complete while playing the game to reward you with more raw materials, and some even give you special items. Finding these collectibles are extremely satisfying, and treasures have humorous descriptions for you to read. Descriptions. Comparing from Pikmin 2 is the ability to upgrade yourself and the collectible materials, which can lead to caves. Returning from Pikmin 2 as well are the caves. You can find people in rescuing and treasure, but be warned they contain many monsters and traps. Or, so I would say, if this were Pikmin 2. Unlike Pikmin 2, I feel the caves are much easier and shorter. And while the final cave is sufficiently deep and difficult, the rest of them I find were too easy and short. Of course, this is countered by the fact that overall there are more caves than 2, I feel. I haven't counted. And you can spend more time in the overworld since there is lots more to find than in 2. The caves were more difficult. But I'm sure most of the difficulty is eaten up by using Ochi. And he's an absolute unit. Furthermore, we have night expeditions. These are new to the game, and for the first time in the franchise, you can head out at night. It isn't the staying out at night I expected from the trailers, but it is a fun tower defense mode where you meet the new glow Pikmin, who are really powerful, and group together to charge and stun enemies as a ball. They also seem to... Your reward for these expeditions is a sap to heal certain stranded people and glow seeds to bring the glow Pikmin into the caves. New to this game as well is a story reason to use the multiplayer Dandori mode, the Dandori battles. They have you fighting a mysterious stranger who we definitely don't know. No at all. No siree, nuh-uh. If you know the trailer, you know. And if you played the previous games. After playing these fun battles, you can rescue a Pikminized person who can be saved using the medicine made from the sap in the night expeditions. You can also find these people in caves and in Dandori challenges where you collect as much stuff in a short time span. Both of these Dandori challenges are a fun way to spice up the gameplay, and in order to get to the highest rank of Platinum, they are actually very difficult to achieve for the most part. And later on, if you want to go back to them, they can offer an amazing challenge. We also have a phone mode similar to Pikmin 1, where you have to collect all of Olimar's ship parts under a time limit of 15 days. This is a fun little bit that tells Olimar's story before you show up, and beating it unlocks a very challenging mode. You can unlock Olimar's Tales, by the way, by reaching the first checkpoint, I guess, where the credits roll. And it's not... Once you enter the end game, you can do it. The Sage's Trials are unlocked by completing Olimar's Tales, and are very difficult. Even just barely squeaking by, I struggle with these challenges. Completing them, you're rewarded with the white and purple onions, allowing you to finally produce these Pikmin types after the entire game of not having them. The purple onion alone makes going through these challenges worth it to produce the chonky lads yourself. Issues. I do have some issues with the game. For example, the auto-lock. It really messes with my own aim, and it'll automatically lock onto things that you don't want. For example, I'll be trying to... you'll be fighting an enemy, and there will be a hazard, and you want to destroy the hazard so you don't have to worry about it while you fight the enemy. But for some reason, the auto-lock will only lock on to the enemy, or it'll lock on to some treasure or some other enemy on the ground, and it won't let you do the thing you want. And that's my issue with the auto-lock, is sometimes it takes control from you and it doesn't let you do the thing, what you want to do, which in my mind is a problem, because in previous Pikmin games you had free control, and I think that the lack of an option to turn off the auto-lock on would benefit this game. The auto-lock is very helpful most of the time, but not all the time. It's very helpful with certain shots and for quality of life, like breaking pellet posies. But when you're in combat situations, it can make things an issue, especially because there are certain things that the auto-lock doesn't auto-lock to. Like poison mushrooms. You can't auto-lock to those. So while you're in the middle of combat, the auto-lock won't target them. It'll be busy targeting an enemy, and you can't switch the auto-lock to target that. Also, the red and yellow Pikmin, in my opinion, have never felt more worthless in this game, especially in the second half of the game. The reds are ideal for combat in the first path, but after getting rocks and later purples, there is literally no reason to use reds for most of the game. Most fire obstacles aren't permanently on, so you can still deal with them without reds. And yellows are even worse. There's hardly any electric things in this game. And again, most of them can be dealt with any other type because they're not permanent. And electricity still can't kill Pikmin like it did in 2. Furthermore, the high jumps are used only a couple times, I'd say, throughout the game. Most of the time, you can just Ochi charge and the thing will fall off the ledge that you want. Furthermore, I find that difficulty is also an issue. This is definitely the easiest Pikmin game. I have lost way less Pikmin in this game than any other in the series. And I've had many of the bosses be killed in one shot in their first phase. However, overall, Pikmin 4 is an amazing and beautiful game that is incredibly fun to play, and I believe it is a must-play on the Switch. And since collecting everything, I feel this is a game that you should collect everything in it. All the treasures and all the stranded people to get the true ending. Or, finally, I don't know how it works. I got everything as I went through. I feel you should get everything. It's not very difficult. And even after collecting everything, the game was roughly 40 hours long, which is a nice length. I find that's not too long, not too short. So if you want just a quick game to play, it's not that bad. I highly recommend Pikmin 4. I don't really want to give it a number scale. I don't believe in that because not everything can be compared to each other. So I give this game, I think you should play this game. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and thank you for visiting my corner of the internet.